Yo. Hey, Reiki people. Today I want to talk about comments, community, and the goals of the channel going forward. First, I've been told by my family members and friends that I need to be saying this more, so I'm going to say it right now, and I'll try to say it in more videos. Please comment below. I really would love to have a lot of engagement on the channel. Comments are the best way to do that right now. I do have an email as well, bitesofreiki@gmail, that I'll put below. So if you have something long form that you'd like to say or ask to me directly, go ahead and write it there. Also, any questions you have are great, and I would try to do videos on as many of them as I can. So any type of thing you're into, book or game or anything like that that you think might be related to Reiki in some way, please let me know. I can't guarantee that I would read or play or do everything that is you think might be connected, but I'm really good at reading Wikipedia articles and synopsises, so please comment leisurely down below and let me know what you think. In terms of community, I'll tell you what I'm hoping for, the people I'm hoping for to come to this channel. I would love as many first-timers as we can get. I think this is a great channel for learning about Reiki, even if you have no interest in like getting your hands warm, so to speak. I will have lots of videos on stuff that is adjacent to Reiki and is sort of philosophical and metaphysical about the practice itself. Those videos may be able to help you in some way. I will also have videos that are for people who want to practice, and I need to do a better job about like sort of marking which ones are for if you want to practice and which ones are just for fun, you know? So I'll try to find a way to do that. For now, I'll just try to make sure that I mention it in the intro of the video, if it's like specific for learning Reiki. Right now, that would be the level 1 video, the strap-in video that I just did. So in terms of community, in terms of important videos, the level 1 that I just did is one of the ones that you would want to watch if you're interested in practicing. I really enjoy talking about the nuts and bolts of Reiki, and I did a lot of setting up in my earlier like 10 or 12 videos that I did. I'm going to try to get more into the actual practice of it and videos explaining that more often. A big part of that is going to be my chakra series coming up. So, you know, I'll try to show the difference between just the fun videos and the ones that you can do if you actually want to learn to practice. Look, I'm just gonna be like straight flat out in talking about goals of the channel, and that's gonna be most of this video because this is really important for me to say. It's something that I've been intending and cogitating and manifesting for a long time. There was a long time that I was thinking about doing this channel that I didn't do it, that I just sort of vibed about it until I sort of felt like I had enough courage to come forward with it. So I'll come forward with you. I want an army. A battalion would be nice, of Reiki practitioners. The more portals, the more like ways that Reiki is coming into the world, in my opinion, the better. Reiki helps with individuals, it helps with your physical health, it helps with your mental health, it helps with your emotional health. It can even like, once you get to level 2, you can send it into more abstract things. Like one of the things that level 2 was incredibly beneficial to me was sending Reiki into my past so that I could, well, shine some light on some of the darker corners of who I was. And that's one of the great things that level 2 can do. And that makes you a better person to face that in yourself. And yeah, so the more people that are doing Reiki, whether it's sending it into abstract things, macro things, or into micro things like just feeling it in your hands, or just alleviating a headache you have or settling an upset stomach or anything like that. It brings good vibes into the world. And, it may seem like if you're just doing Reiki to yourself, like I've been teaching on the channel so far, that you would just be helping yourself, but you interact with people in the world and you're connected to the world itself. So the better you're doing, the better the world will end up doing by comparison or in relation to you. So I'll just leave that as it is, and I'll move on to sort of, that's my personal goal in doing Reiki in general, is getting as many people into it as possible. The other goal of the channel, rather than just the goal of myself, but the goal of the channel, I need to just say a little bit of history real quick. I know, history on a Friday, but here we go. The Enlightenment, which was like 15th, 16th century, blew open people's faith in the church and in the divine and in humanity, really, because these church officials for hundreds of years in many civilizations had been solely responsible for dictating to the people how the world worked and their relationship to the world, that being their moral relationship to the metaphysical divine powers that ruled the world. And that's not just Western civilization. That was many different civilizations had that same kind of thing going on. The religious elders, the religious powers were the powers in charge. You might have little nations here and there, and definitely as the Enlightenment dragged on, the religious powers became less powerful. I'm thinking in terms of things like, the Catholic Church and things like that. But ultimately, we were left with like a hole, and that hole lasted for a very long time. And then people like Sir Isaac Newton and other thinkers, Descartes, which is what we learned a lot about him in philosophy class, they came along, and then the scientific revolution came along, and science tried to fill in the gaps that were left in our psyche after the collapse of the church and the revolution of the Enlightenment. And science has done a bang-up job at this. We have gained dominion over the planet, over nature. I don't think many people could really argue with that at this point. We even run the risk of trashing our environment. We have upgraded our technology, our ability to dominate our environment and bad things around us. We've done a very good job, but science never, no scientist that I have ever met and no scientific method or process I've ever read about has ever claimed to be able to instruct people in morality and instruct people in goodness. Goodness, just the idea of there being good inherent in a human being, is a belief. And it's not a belief that any physical thing can prove to you. If you are in a bad vibrational state and you think there's nothing but bad people everywhere you go, that's exactly what you're gonna see. You could have 1 million people helping people with their groceries walking the streets, but you'd never see them because your vibration, your energy is just low. And that's why I think that everybody understands that. Everybody understands low energy. Everyone understands feeling good. Everyone understands good vibes. And that's why I try to make that comparison between Reiki and that kind of language, because that kind of language is what we know here, at least in the States. I haven't traveled out of the country much, but it's an easy thing to understand. We understand our emotional states. And Reiki says it's good to feel good and it's good to be good. And if you're good, if you follow things like, the motto that I made another video about, you can live a good life and you can benefit others. So I'm not saying like Reiki replaces religion, and I'm not saying that it's more powerful than science, but Reiki use this method and what I've described in these videos and what many other practitioners all over the world have been doing. It can earn your thoughts, and a belief is just a thought you think a lot, and it can earn your attention. It can earn your thoughts and maybe even eventually earn your belief by testing, by experimenting, both physically and non-physically. Physically in terms of like, hey man, see if you can get your hands warm. And yeah, like technically speaking, your body's like 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit anyway, but you'll know if they feel warm, and if you press, if you use the Reiki, you can feel it, and then you can prove it to yourself. There may not be a microscope or a focus of microscope that you can use to see it, but you yourself, through your own experimentation with it, can experience it. Similarly, like when I say non-physically, metaphysically, this particularly has to do with level 2, but I've made some videos about it. You can start imagining the type of joy, the type of lifestyle, the type of experience you want to have, send good energy to it, receive that energy back as your intuition, and follow it into fruition, into, what a lot of people call like manifestation, And once you do that, once you get in the pattern of doing that, it's like, aha, this is a thing. Even if you try to talk to somebody else about it and they're like, oh, I don't know, it sounds like a lot of woo-woo nonsense to me. You can say to yourself, like, well, that person probably hasn't had all the things work out for them that I've gotten to a point where it happens for me relatively fluidly, So my hope is that through this channel, you'll give Reiki a chance and let it prove itself to you. And if it does, and even if it doesn't, please leave a like and comment below. Have a good weekend, guys.